Okay, welcome in. I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible. Hopefully it doesn't upload as a short, but I know the last time I did a video, it was 2 minutes long. It ended up being a short. So if you happen to tune in and you want to see how I'm doing with my football predictions, if it's not on my regular videos, it should pop up on my shorts. So week number 6 is obviously complete. As I'm speaking, it's technically Thursday morning, so I'll quickly do a review for week 6, and then I'll do a preview for week number 7. So I left my paperwork inside. I can't remember exactly, I apologize, what my overall record is. But I do know how I finished with my picks this past week. Now, I may have gotten a game or two wrong here and there, but I think I finished above 500 for the 15 games that we just witnessed past. So Thursday we had the NFC East between the Giants and the Eagles, and I feel like a lot of people probably predicted that the Eagles would win. I did, and they got smoked, losing 34-17. They're now 4-2 if I'm not mistaken. I will check the standings once I'm done my review, but 2 tough losses for the Eagles, and it's not looking as promising as it was after September. The next game took place in England, and man, oh man, was I ever pissed that I woke up early just to watch this horrific game. If anybody tuned into the Jets and Broncos game, I apologize. I had nothing to do with it, but I'm sorry for wasting 3 hours of your time. I was unbelievably pissed, and I was so nervous throughout the entire game. The first quarter, we looked hot because the Broncos were up 10-3, I do believe, or 10-6. And I was like, okay, this is promising. They have a chance. And they scored 3 points in the fourth quarter and gave up a safety, and they would end up winning somehow 13-11. So if you did like a bet on this game and you bet a tie, then I'm sure you left happier than a pig in shit. But if you bet on the Broncos or bet on the Jets to win, well, you would have lost that bet by a long shot. Both offenses were ineffective. Obviously, the Jets were even less effective because I took a look at the Justin Fields stat, and because he got sacked 9 times for 55 yards, he only had 45 yards passing the entire game. So because he was sacked 50 for 55 yards, he basically had a negative 10 net yards for the entire game, which is absolutely absurd. I can't even fathom that. So I did predict the Broncos would win. Their defense is outstanding. I can't give enough credit to their defense, but their offense should have been a lot better. They should have put up a few more touchdowns, at least a couple more field goals. Just very, very inconsistent. Again, I love their defense. Their defense can take us as far as we can go. And even though technically defenses win championships, and if you go all the way back to the 2015-16 season when Denver played in the Super Bowl against Carolina, it was essentially their defense that won them that game. But you need touchdowns. You need more field goals. You can't hope that the other team is going to score 9 points the entire game. So hopefully moving forward, I'm not too concerned about their defense. Their defense is spectacular, but hopefully they can get more mojo in their offense because it was just an overall unbelievably bad performance considering the week prior when they played the Eagles and scored like 17 points in the fourth quarter. They scored more points in the fourth quarter against the Eagles than they did the entire game against the Jets. That's saying something. So anyway, 1-1 so far with my predictions. The next game took place in Baltimore, and because Lamar's out and they have so many injuries on both the offense and defensive side, I did go with the Rams. 17-3 would be the final score in favor of Los Angeles, so I believe I'm 2-1 with my predictions so far. This one I did not see coming. I did predict the Cowboys would defeat the Panthers, and it wasn't meant to be. The Panthers would win this 30-27, so 3-2 with my picks so far. The Colts won a high-scoring game between them and the Cardinals. I did predict that Indy would win this one, so 31-27 would be the final score. So another prediction that I got correct, I guess. Now this one, I may have to look back at my previous video, but I really only have right now to record. I don't really have time to go back and look at all my picks. But I'm pretty sure I picked the Seahawks over the Jags because I felt they had the better team on paper, but I could have picked the Jags because coming into this one, they were 4-1. So this is a toss-up. I either got it correct or incorrect. So I could give myself an L for this one. I probably did predict Jacksonville, but if I picked Seattle and they won, then cool. Now, the Chargers took on the Dolphins. 29-27 would be the final score. I did predict that LA would win this, and they did after losing the previous week. The previous 2 weeks, I should say. The Steelers defeated the Browns 23-9. I predicted that Pittsburgh would win that one. The New Orleans Saints hosted the New England Patriots, and it was a closer game than what a lot of people thought. 25-19 would be the final score. I did predict that New England would win this contest, so I got another one right. The Las Vegas Raiders played host to the Tennessee Titans. 20-10 would be the final score in favor of Vegas. So, yeah, they won. The Titans lost, and because the Titans lost, they fired their coach. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm like 99% sure I predicted Tampa Bay, but I could have predicted San Fran. Who knows? 30-19 will be the final score in favor of the Buccaneers. The Green Bay Packers played host to the Cincinnati Bengals, and despite the fact that the Bengals got Joe Flacco earlier in the week, there was some speculation whether he'd start now or, I guess, technically tonight, which is Thursday, against the Steelers. They decided to put him in. He beat the Packers once with the Browns, but he couldn't beat them with the Bengals. Now, this is a game I really cannot recall who I got the right or not. I want to say I predicted Detroit would win, but I could have predicted KC since they were home. Kansas City obviously did win, and they seem to be back to their winning ways. All right. Now, I know I got the 2 Monday Night Football games wrong. I know that. I predicted Buffalo and Washington. It wasn't meant to be. For Buffalo, they just did not show at all. I think they were down, it was a big time at halftime. I think they were down by at least 2 scores, if I'm not mistaken, at halftime. And the Bills just couldn't crawl out of the hole. And as for the Bears, they didn't want to have what happened to them last year happen again this year. They lost to the Commanders on the last second Hail Mary. It wasn't meant to be this time. The Bears did get a little bit of revenge against the Commanders. So I think I finished with 15 games. I think I finished with a 10-5 record. Maybe at worst I finished with a 9-6. Worst case scenario, maybe I finished with 8-7. But I'm pretty sure I finished with at least above 500 record. So I will take that. So take a look at the standings. In the AFC East, it's no longer the Bills in first place because the Patriots defeated the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks ago, I do believe. So Patriots are 4-2. The Bills are 4-2. The Miami Dolphins are lonely 1-5, and the New York Jets are the only winless team on this season. The last time the Jets started 0-6 was back in the COVID year in 2020. So I'm hoping if you're a Jets fan, you're probably hoping you get a few more wins, or maybe you're hoping you just tank and then get a high draft pick when next year's draft comes around. Who knows? The AFC North. Now, I guarantee if anybody asked you who would be first through fourth, there's no way anybody would have had Pittsburgh being first, but because of the injuries to the Bengals and the Ravens, and because Aaron Rodgers has seemed a fountain of youth, I guess, they're in first place with a record of 4-1. The Bengals are 2-4. They are on a 4-game losing skid as we speak. And speaking of a 4-game losing skid, so are the Ravens. They were 0-1, 1-1, and then obviously they dropped their last 4. And the Cleveland Browns have the exact same record as Baltimore, 1-5. So who'd have saw this coming? Probably nobody. The AFC South, a very unpredictable division to say the least. The Colts are in first place with a 5-1 record. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a game behind them with a 4-2 record. Houston did have their bye week, so they are 2-3, and the Tennessee Titans are 1-5. The AFC West looks like this. It's a very close division. The Los Angeles Chargers are in first place with a 4-2 record because they beat Denver. Denver's in second place with a 4-2 record as well. Kansas City's in third place with a 3-3 record, and the Las Vegas Raiders are in fourth place with a record of 2-4. All right, off to the NFC East. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, who I did talk about at the start. They started the season off 4-0. They've now lost 2 straight games. They only have a 1-game lead on the Washington Commanders, so hopefully they can get their ish together and start winning some more games. The Commanders are 3-3. The Cowboys are 2-3-1, and the New York Giants are 2-4-0. The Green Bay Packers find themselves in first place. Who would have guessed this? After Detroit looked they were going to be dominating that division for the 3rd straight year. Not saying that they can't. So the Packers are 3-1-1. I believe they had their bye week. The Detroit, no, sorry, they did win last week. I apologize. The Detroit Lions are sitting in second place with a record of 4-2-0, and the Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears both have records of 3-2, respectively, for third and fourth place. The NFC South looks like this. The Tampa Bay Lightning are running away with that division. Well, yes and no. With a 5-1 record, they do have a 2-game lead on the Atlanta Falcons, who they beat in Week 1, I'm pretty sure. The Falcons are 3-2, and the Carolina Panthers are 3-3. The New Orleans Saints are 1-5. And last but not least, the NFC West has the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, basically in a three-way tie for first place with a 4-2 record, while the Cardinals are sitting at 2-4. All right, that should take care of my recap for week number 6 of the NFL season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative as well. Until next time, and as always, take care.